ABC News.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
KBNU News Time is 4:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Roof Rescue. A 22-year-old Mendon man has confessed to sexually assaulting a woman at his home last year. Abraham Edlund accepted a plea deal to reduce charges on Wednesday, the same day a jury trial had originally been scheduled for his case. Edlund participated in a virtual hearing in First District Court. Appearing by web conference, he pleaded guilty to an amended charge of attempted rape, a first-degree felony. As part of the plea agreement, prosecutors dropped a remaining misdemeanor in the case. Edlund raped the 19-year-old victim on the evening of March 19th. The woman had reportedly met the suspect on a dating app and had gone out once previously. During the second date, Edlund reportedly supplied her alcohol to the point she became sick, and later he raped her. During a phone conversation with the victim and recorded by law enforcement, Edlund reportedly blamed his actions on being drunk and not thinking straight. Defense attorney Shannon Demler had previously claimed the victim might not have had a clear recollection of what happened on the night of the assault because she was intoxicated. During yesterday's hearing, Cache County Deputy Attorney Dane Murray said he had spoken with the victim, who approved of the plea deal. He asked the court to schedule an in-person sentencing hearing so she can address the court. Judge Brian Cannell scheduled sentencing for April 20th to give Edlund time to undergo both a pre-sentence report and psychosexual evaluation. Edlund spoke only briefly, telling the court he was willing to waive his rights to a trial and plead guilty. He could face up to life in prison. KBNU News Time is 4:07. KBNU weather for tonight, partly cloudy and patchy fog developing. Overnight low near 15, partly cloudy then clearing on Friday. Patchy morning fog, mid-30s tomorrow. And then on Saturday, partly cloudy then clearing, high around 40. Right now we have 35 at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Maple Creek Ranch, home to a paradise free of Cache Valley inversions. Enjoy warmer winter temperatures and cleaner air being several hundred feet above Cache Valley's floor. Visit maplecreekranch.net.
If you think it's expensive to hire a professional, just wait until you hire an amateur.
Why the heck is the roof leaking? Larry, you said you got it fixed.
I thought it was fixed, Donna. Everything was fine until it started raining.
Larry, that's the point of fixing the roof, is so we can actually live here when it's stormy outside.
This is David with Roof Rescue. Our experienced roofing team is tried and true and will fix your roof guaranteed. Visit roofrescueusa.com to schedule your free roof inspection. Roof Rescue, providing watertight peace of mind.
KBNU News Time is 4:08. House Speaker Brad Wilson filed a bill that allocates $40 million to efforts to protect the Great Salt Lake by getting more water into it. House Bill 410 builds off of something that environmental groups have tried, getting water rights for the Great Salt Lake. Fox 13 reported last year that the Audubon Society and Nature Conservancy inked a deal with Rio Tinto Kennecott to lease water rights for the lake itself, which is a first. The lake itself does not have water rights because it's a terminal basin, and legally any water that enters the Great Salt Lake is deemed to have no beneficial use. That's despite it being a major contributor to Utah's ecosystem, and a shrinking lake has the potential to stir up toxic dust storms or kill our snowpack in the state. HB 410 would create private-public partnerships and spend money for water rights, habitat restoration, and other work to save the lake. Linda Freitas, the head of the environmental group Friends of the Great Salt Lake, praised the speaker for the legislation. She said combined with other water conservation and Great Salt Lake bills in the legislature, the speaker's political will is helping to protect the lake. And a U.S. military pilot known as the Candy Bomber for his airdrops of sweets during the Berlin airlift after World War II ended has died. Gail Halverson died Wednesday in his home state of Utah at the age of 101. He was beloved in Berlin, which he last visited in 2019 when the city celebrated the 70th anniversary of the day that the Soviets lifted their post-war blockade, cutting off supplies to West Berlin. Halverson's mission started after he was struck by how a group of children behind a fence at the airport eagerly accepted his offer of 2 sticks of gum. KBNU News Time is 4:10. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
Local news and the best talk. News Talk KVNU.
At Heritage Jeep, February is the month that we honor American legends, and during our President's Day sales event, there's never been a better time to find yourself in a legendary Jeep vehicle. Like the new Jeep Gladiator, one of the most versatile Jeep vehicles ever. Well-qualified leasees can get a low-mileage 39-month lease for just $339 a month. Jeep has always been on the cutting edge of innovation and performance, and they've proven that once again with the 375-horsepower 2022 Jeep Wrangler 4xe, Jeep's first plug-in hybrid vehicle. And you've got to check out the all-new 2022 Jeep Grand Wagoneer, the full-size sports utility vehicle that strikes the perfect balance between luxury and capability. Whichever Jeep vehicle you choose, you'll know that you're behind the wheel of the true American legend, and the confidence and the ability to go wherever your adventure takes you. The President's Day sales event all month long at Heritage of Brigham City, Tremont, and Logan. Heritage Jeep, your hometown dealer with the biggest deals.
Hi, this is Drew Allen with Allen Mortuaries. Over the years, thousands of families have planned ahead with Allen Mortuaries. Planning ahead helps you make informed and thoughtful decisions. It also spares your family the stress of making these decisions under the pressure of time and strong emotions. Allen Mortuaries' secure pre-need trust plan can save you nearly 40% versus other plans. Keep it simple, safe, and secure. Go with the proven choice, Allen Mortuaries. Voted best funeral home in Cache Valley in northern Utah. Allen Mortuaries. Then, now, always.
The best of northern Utah, presented by Campbell Snacks, home of Pepperidge Farm, is almost here.
Best of northern Utah.
Starting Wednesday, February 23rd, nominate your favorite businesses at bestofnorthernutah.com. This is the contest every business hopes to win. Last year, nearly 1,000 businesses were nominated. Help us recognize the best local businesses by nominating them at thebestofnorthernutah.com, starting February 23rd. Presented by Campbell Snacks, home of Pepperidge Farm.
New federal guidelines have nearly doubled the number of Americans eligible for lung cancer screening. Insurance companies are required to cover these tests for those ages 50 to 80 who currently smoke or used to smoke. Along with new treatments, lung cancer screening saves lives. If you are 50 to 80 years old and smoke or used to smoke, talk to your doctor about lung cancer screening. For more information and to find a screening center near you, visit the National Lung Cancer Roundtable at nlcrt.org.
Hi, I'm news correspondent Bob Woodruff. In 2006, a roadside bomb struck the armored vehicle I was riding in while reporting from Iraq. I sustained a life-threatening traumatic brain injury. The military term, "got your six," means I have your back. And that day, our service members had mine. During my recovery, I learned firsthand the challenges facing our service members who return home with injuries. While serving, their fellow service members always had their six. Now that they're home, it is our turn. We started the Bob Woodruff Foundation to make sure that the camaraderie and support they relied on in the military carries on, and we need you. Please join us as part of the Got Your Six initiative and help us be there for impacted veteran service members and their families. They've had our backs. It's time we have theirs. Learn more at gotyoursix.org. That's gotyoursix.org, using the number 6.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cache Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have two guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVN News for the People. Hour one of today's show, Thursday, February 17th. I'm Jason Williams, Bill Walter here in the studio as well. Charlie Schill joining us for this week's installment of Theater Hour here on KVN News for the People, talking arts, entertainment, and more. And before we get to that, coming up in hour two, a legislative update, including some time that the new Cache County attorney spent on Capitol Hill yesterday, why he was there, what he had to say, and, well, I guess a lesson that sometimes the legislative cycle can get a bit petty and ego-driven, and other counties have to step in and stop the larger counties from harming themselves. That's a short summary of what was going on, but we'll get to that in hour two. Right now, no talk of the legislature or bills. Well, I guess a little bit, Charlie. There is actually some funding for, I think they always put it under a very vague term, cultural issue or cultural community investments or something like that. But they're talking about a grant program that it already exists. They're talking about beefing up this grant program that the state has to help these theater companies along, and they, when they discussed this yesterday, they said, they realized during the pandemic that we did lose some, but we almost lost them all, and then many venues were struggling to stay afloat, especially in Salt Lake County in general, and so they're talking about maybe having a bit of it sort of sounds like a statewide RAPS tax type system, where they would just have this pool of money, and then there's a granting process where if a theater company has been in operation for, say, 1 to 2 years at least, and they go through a rough patch because of a pandemic or some other reason, they can apply for a grant to stay afloat, and it'll be interesting to see if that flies. I don't know.
I think all the counties already have RAPS tax, so
and they use it kind of the same way, don't they?
Yeah, they do. But what are you going to do? Jack up? put a 2% or 3% on top of the county tax?
It'll be interesting to see what scheme they come up with. I'm guessing this one doesn't fly.
Well,
but
it's a worthy cause.
Sure. It's nice to see them recognize that has some value.
Absolutely, because in addition to keeping your theater programs across the state alive, you're going to generate a lot of funds that, sales tax, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
It's an investment.
I think so.
I mean, poor Michael Baum has been beating his head against the wall for years trying to convince the county that, yes, we are a big economic engine for you.
It is. I know theaters alone and what goes on in the theaters are a huge chunk of why the hotels are often as full as they are, why the restaurants are as packed as they are on the weekends. And it's too bad you can't do a little experiment of sorts where you just have an alternate reality machine where you just extract something from the economy and say, okay.
Oh, sounds like it's a wonderful life.
That's right.
What
would it be like if you got
rid
of all of this?
What would the economy of Cache County be like if Michael Baum had never been born?
Sure. I think one thing we know, a lot of summer citizens would keep going north. I really do. I think a lot of them would. There are destinations north of us that are attractive and pleasant. And I think they would just drive through. They might buy some gas, maybe snacks, and then they just drive on through. But
probably.
Speaking of all this, what's going on this last weekend?
Oh, well, lots of things. Couple points I have to make.
Okay.
I didn't realize this was the Theater Hour.
I don't think that's officially the title.
It better not be the title. We need something much sexier than that.
I'm still surprised no listeners suggested just the perfect name. The submissions, the window's open. 753-5868. We need a name for this hour, but no, I just call it the Theater Hour. I don't think that should stay the name.
Okay. Well, we've got a couple things going on. This is the second weekend of the Moors up on the Utah State campus. We got to talk about that. That's a trip. But late in the show last week, we had a person call in about, or send an email in about the lyric season.
Oh, okay.
You don't remember?
No.
I'm hurt.
I was just quickly Googling my notes because I knew you were headed here with this, and I wrote this down somewhere. I don't find.
Okay.
I'm lost. Pretend I'm new. I just got here.
Okay. Let's talk about the lyric season first.
Okay.
Because there's a lot there that we need to talk about. Last year, the lyric was focused on small cast shows.
Yeah.
And they did mostly serious stuff. This season, they're going back to their roots. It's going to be a more traditional lyric season. One musical, 2 comedies, 1 drama, and the interactive show, the show in progress, Interact, that they did last year. They're reviving that. And, of course, they're doing the Vasco Call Spotlight concert.
That's always a hit.
Vasco Call is a legend.
Yeah, I know people that drive a long ways for this one show.
Well, and this year they will probably have more live performers involved in it. Last year it was a mix of live, local people, and people on video.
Okay.
That's
right.
I suspect they'll have a lot more live performers this year. It is so easy to become kind of overcome by that old man's talents. In 2020, when, at the height of the pandemic, they did a total, everything was video. But that was the first Vasco Call concert. And running over the credits at the end of that video, they had a video of Vasco doing that the everybody's favorite scene from Cyrano de Bergerac, where Cyrano composes a poem while he's fighting a duel, and it just flourishes.
That's
he is
very
so
cool.
good.
That's you described it as legendary, and it lives up to it.
Oh yeah, you can't touch him. He's amazing.
That is. Did you see? There's a Cyrano movie coming with Peter from Game of Thrones.
From Game of Thrones.
Can't remember his last name. Dinklage.
Dinklage.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I've
you know that's a gimmick, but
sure.
I think it works. You know,
it could be interesting.
It motivates Cyrano not to go after Roxanne himself, but to put a surrogate in.
I think it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
And he's amazing. He is a great performer.
Actually, a great actor, I think.
Yes.
But he got his start in theater. I didn't know that until recently. But he was years and years and years on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Most of the people you see in movies nowadays got their starts, doing high school theater.
Sure. I would assume that's where a lot of people get the bug.
Yeah.
And then it just sticks with them. I know I've spoken to several people long-timers in theater companies here in Cache Valley who have said that. And it's interesting to me how often Pickleville comes up as well. In some of the people that have been around a long time. They did Pickleville one summer with some friends and then just couldn't really imagine doing anything else.
That'll get you the bug, that's for sure. Anyway, back to the lyric. The first show they're doing is called A Fox on the Fairway, and it's a comedy about a golf tournament between rival communities, rival country clubs. The thing here is that it's written by Ken Ludwig, who is probably America's best playwright when it comes to farce.
Oh, okay.
He's got a real taste for it. They did, the Lyric did a few years ago a show called Lend Me a Tenor, which was just amazing, and that's a Ken Ludwig show.
That is very cool.
So the show's going to be directed by Richie Call, my buddy, and it should be amazing.
That's
Ken Ludwig doesn't write bad plays. He couldn't do a bad play if you put a gun to his head.
He does a funny. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly. Doesn't he do one that's a bit of a spoof on Shakespeare?
Oh yeah.
I can't remember the name, but it's hilarious, and it's not mean farce either. It's not mean comedy.
Oh no.
It's good natured, and you leave.
He's always good that way.
Yeah, you leave feeling good.
Shakespeare in Hollywood.
That's the one.
That's it.
That was that'll be a fun team. He and Richie Call, putting those two together. This should be pretty interesting. Speaking of the Lyric really quick, a bit of a tangent but related. I think this is such a cool idea, and I wish more would do this. I guess only the Eccles would have the option to do it alongside them, but they have this thing they're calling the Flex Pass. Mm-hmm. So for someone hearing you talk about this lineup, we've gotten to the Fox on the Fairway, which starts in June. You can buy this Flex Pass and go to everything. Or a few. You don't have to go to everything, but this Flex Pass gets you into anything playing, in this specific theater lineup at the Lyric. And I think that's a really good idea. Might buy one myself. And it does include the 4th annual Vasco Call Spotlight.
Yeah.
I checked. That's a very cool idea.
Okay. The musical they're going to do, and I'm gritting my back teeth here, is Disney's Freaky Friday, which is based on the two movies that Disney did and Freaky Friday was the first of the switching roles between a young character and an old character.
Yeah. And then it's been repeated.
It was, but never as good.
No. And that first one, Jodie Foster at 13
and Barbara Harris.
Something? Yeah.
And Barbara Harris was amazing in it.
I remember seeing that a lot as a kid.
Then there was, probably in the 90s? No, probably in the 2000s. There was a version with not Jennifer Jason Leigh, Jamie Lee Curtis, and...
Oh, that's right, a direct remake.
Yes.
That's right.
Well, close.
Close, kind of.
And, come on, you should remember Party Girl. What's her name?
Yeah. It's funny, you and I have the same blanks in our memories because I can picture her face. I know who you're talking about.
Sure.
I can't think of her name.
Anyway.
And then we had Big and then more recently 17 again with
Vice Versa.
Vice Versa, I forgot about that
Vice
one.
Versa is one of the good ones.
I don't think I've seen
Reinhold
that.
And the kid from Wonder Years.
That's interesting.
Fred Savage.
That is... Judge Reinhold, man, I haven't thought about him in years.
Okay.
Used to think he was hilarious.
Now.
Ruthless People with Bette Midler and Danny DeVito and Judge Reinhold.
Yes.
One of the funniest movies ever, and you can't find it.
Okay.
I digress.
Now, I have been on record as saying that I hate all Disney musicals. And this is a Disney musical, of course. Like all generalizations, that's not true.
Sure.
I kind of resent the Disney money machine running off musicals,
just kind of cookie cutter.
From their cookie cutter musicals from their cartoons. This one, of course, was not a musical when it was originally created for the movie, for film, and the Disney people went out and hired a guy named Tom Kitt to write music for this show. Tom Kitt has won Tony Awards and all kinds of awards for a musical he did called Next to Normal.
Oh, okay.
Which was amazing. It's a great show. And he did great work on Freaky Friday. Four Seasons did Freaky Friday back in 2019. Celeste Bayo played the mother in it, and she was amazing. When they change personalities, she gets hugely loosey-goosey, and she's great at it.
That could be fun.
It was a great show, and it blew me out of my seat because, of course, I was prepared to hate it.
Sure, going in.
Yeah.
But with good reason. I mean, I'll back you up on that. The Disney cookie cutter thing, in a way, you know what, it's great because there's that content, and there's always an audience for that content, and sometimes people don't really want to be challenged. They just want to go see exactly what they expect. But
Little Mermaid.
That's exactly where I was going to go.
Every
Absolute
theater company
travesty.
in America had to do Little Mermaid, and most of them did it badly.
And that's what's frustrating for me about the Disney musical model is they, if that's happening, something else isn't. You know, that's just the limited resources of theater. And so I would get frustrated when you would see, Little Mermaid's in your lineup for this summer. Great, that's one less thing you'll be doing and that I won't go see.
Now, I gotta say, Four Seasons has done Little Mermaid, and I didn't see it, but I bet it was wonderful.
Sure.
And
they fill seats.
And what do you call it? Pickleville did Little Mermaid, and I bet that was a ball.
I forgot about that. That was, Man, I wonder if I know anyone that saw that. I'm curious now.
I've seen photographs from it, and it looks like it was hysterical.
That's very cool. We've got a news break to get to, but we're not all the way through the Lyric Theater 2022 season so far. Again, we've covered Fox on the Fairway starting in June. Then you have the 1st of June, and then you have Disney's Freaky Friday, the musical, starting end of June. All this happening through the Lyric Repertory Company at various places. Kane Lyric Theater for Fox on the Fairway, Morgan Theater for Disney's Freaky Friday, and we have... I've tried to count really quick. I won't. 4 or 5 more things to talk about just from the Lyric Repertory Company in the 2022 season. Charlie Schill of CashValleyDaily.com, our guest here in the studio. You can read Charlie's work each and every day at CashValleyDaily.com, including theater reviews. He joins us every Thursday here on the show to do it live here on For the People, and we'll keep it going right after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:33, and the news is brought to you by Adams Wealth Advisors. Since late March 2020, when Utah's first COVID death was reported, 4,344 Utahns have died from the virus. The Utah Department of Health reported 8 more deaths today, 2 of which occurred prior to January 17th. Recently, the state's daily reports of positive cases have been trending downward. And today, with 1,032 new cases statewide, is the 8th straight day under 2,000. That helped to drive the 7-day average for positive tests to 1,164 a day. The latest report shows Utah with 917,223 total positive cases over the 23 months of the pandemic. The Bear River Health Department reported 43 new COVID cases in northern Utah since yesterday. The district's total case count has now grown to 51,000. Total hospitalizations in the district have reached 1,958, and coronavirus has claimed the lives of 222 people in Cache, Box Elder, and Rich counties. Cache County Executive David Zook has been very engaged with the Utah legislature during the current session, along with the local representatives. On KVNU's monthly County Hour on Wednesdays for the People program, he talked about one issue that he feels strongly about that he brought up.
That I asked Senator Wilson if he would run is his SB 167 sexual exploitation amendments, and this is about child pornography, is what it is. And we actually were working with the Malou Foundation, and we identified that we needed to toughen some of these penalties related to child pornography.
Sure.
And the problem is the the penalties there, they just don't align with what the public would expect them to be.
Zook said there was a recent local case that went through the FBI and ended up with the county prosecutors, and a lot of work went into tracking down the predator, and he was convicted, but he only received 30 days in jail. Zook said it's a serious morale issue for law enforcement. Another bill that Zook is supporting has to do with USU's veterinary program.
They have a vet school right now, but they only do the first 2 years here, and then the students go to Washington for the second 2 years. They are making a bid right now to the legislature to have a full-fledged vet school here in Cache Valley, which would be
huge,
incredible for our community, for our economy, for our students, for vets.
He said there is currently a shortage of vets in our community and state, and there is actually not a veterinary school in the Intermountain West. Zook said Utah State University would be ideal for a program like this, as they are a leader in other animal sciences, genetics, and biotech, and this school would support all of these. And a panel of Idaho lawmakers has advanced a bill that would repeal the state's primary law banning private militias. The move from the House Transportation and Defense Committee came Wednesday afternoon after the lawmakers heard from several residents who said the legislation could dangerously embolden the paramilitary groups that already exist throughout the region. The bill comes from Idaho National Guard General Counsel Major Steve Stokes, who said it was part of an ongoing effort to eliminate laws and regulations that are considered unnecessary red tape. Several residents urged the lawmakers to strengthen the law instead, citing paramilitary activity that disturbed some northern Idaho towns in recent years. KBNU News Time is 4:37.
Adams Wealth Advisors is the gold winner for financial planning in the Best of Northern Utah competition. Thank you for your vote. Putting clients first under any circumstance will bring peace of mind when working with Adams Wealth Advisors.
This is Craig Adams. At Adams Wealth Advisors, we are here to help you receive peace of mind whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning. Count on our team at Adams Wealth Advisors for honesty, professionalism, and integrity.
Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com or call 752-1702 to schedule a time with an advisor today. Please see AdamsWealthAdvisors.com for more information on these recent awards.
KBNU weather tonight, partly cloudy, patchy fog during the night, low near 15, partly cloudy then clearing on Friday with some patchy morning fog, mid-30s tomorrow. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny, around 40 on Saturday. It was 38 today. Right now it's 36 at KBNU. Weather brought to you by Maple Creek Ranch. They invite you to a paradise free of Cache Valley inversions. Enjoy warmer winter temperatures and cleaner air as they are several hundred feet above Cache Valley's floor. Visit maplecreekranch.net. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Tron Arnold of Edward Jones bringing you the day's financial market report. U.S. equity markets declined more than 2% amid renewed concerns over the ongoing geopolitical tensions between Russia and Ukraine. Technology and growth stocks added to their year-to-date underperformance as valuations continued to get pressured. Asian equities were mixed while European stocks were lower. A spike in energy prices remains a key risk if the situation escalates. Yet, oil prices were lower today and on track for a weekly loss as the market is also paying attention to developments in negotiations trying to return Iran to the 2015 nuclear deal, which would likely release some Iranian oil back to the market. Consistent with the situation and the market caution, the 10-year Treasury yield fell below 2%, and defensive sectors and gold outperformed. In stocks of local interest, Thermo Fisher was down $9.81 to $540.54. Home Depot was down $2.15 at $347.94. Autoly was down $2.84 at $100.34. Lowe's was down $3.22 at $223.79. Walmart was up $5.35 at $138.88. Nucor was down $1.72 at $120.94. Coca-Cola was up $1.22 at $62.12. Kroger was up 66 cents at 45.23. General Electric was down $2.95 at 98.46, and R.R. Donnelley was down 3 cents at $10.75 a share. This is Tron Arnold of Edward Jones, member SIPC, serving individual investors with long-term financial advice at 1202 South Highway 89 in Logan. If you want more information, feel free to give us a call at 435-752-3400.
When people leave one job for another, they usually take their personal stuff along with them, and yet millions of people still leave their 401k behind. Fortunately, Edward Jones can help you take control of your money. We'll explain your options and, if appropriate, help you roll over your 401k without paying taxes or penalties. To learn more, contact any of the 5 Edward Jones financial advisors in Cache Valley. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Let's go ski-joring.
Ski what?
Ski-joring. It's where a person on skis is pulled by a horse. It comes from Norway, and it means ski driving. Come try it this Saturday in Bear Lake. You can even compete for cash and prizes. Google ski-joring Bear Lake to see a video and learn more. Then come ski-joring this Saturday morning just north of Heritage Park in Garden City. Brought to you by MW Quarter Horses, Bear Lake Visitor Bureau, and Bear Lake Valley Chamber.
For many business owners and operators, there's never been more challenging times to be in business. We get it. We started out as a small business more than 100 years ago. If it weren't for people who believed in us, there wouldn't be a D.L. Evans Bank. And through a Great Depression and several recessions, we've never stopped believing in the businesses that are the lifeblood of the communities we serve. In times like these, it's good to have a bank like this, D.L. Evans Bank. This is community banking.
Ah, that's better. Trade in the stresses of building a new home for relaxation. Visionary Homes Priority is giving you a stress-free building experience. Named the best home builder in northern Utah, Visionary Homes team will guide you seamlessly through the home building process. Call today, 435-228-4702, or visit visionaryhomes.com to learn more about upcoming communities in Nibley, Logan, and Smithfield. Visionary Homes, built for living, built for you.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. I'm Jason Williams, joined in the studio by Charlie Schill, our friend from CacheValleyDaily.com, here in the studio with us every Thursday to talk theater in Cache Valley. And we've been making our way through, I almost said slowly making our way, but we've actually been kind of hurrying through. But that's because there is quite a bit on this Lyric Repertory Theater Company 2022 season lineup. And who calls the shots there? I know when we're talking about Eccles, we're mainly talking Wendy Hassan and her team, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the Lyric, who is that? Who decides?
Richie, for the most part.
Is it Richie Call?
Yeah.
Okay. He's smart.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows what he's doing. You look at this lineup here, and yeah, there's a bit for everybody.
Yeah, the drama in the lineup is Fences by August Wilson.
This is on my list.
Wilson is kind of the unofficial poet laureate of black playwrights in America.
Okay.
He's got a series of plays called the Pittsburgh Cycle that he's been doing since, probably the 80s.
Really? That long?
Yeah, and they're good shows. This one, Fences, is about a black middle-aged man who was an athlete but was kept out of professional sports by the black boycotts in earlier years. And he's coming to terms with his son having opportunities that he didn't have.
The exact same.
Yeah.
The opportunities he wanted specifically, right?
It's a marvelous show. It's been done in movies with Denzel Washington.
Now, that's my only experience with it, and I have to say, first off, the movie with Denzel Washington's great, but as I watched that movie, I was so disappointed that my first experience wasn't with the play. Because this is, to me, this is the perfect thing for a stage.
Yep.
This is what I love, this type of thing.
This show will probably have the Lyric bringing in black professional actors from Howard University, as they did when they did Raisin in the Sun and
that's right,
and in previous seasons. The thing you got to watch out for on this show is they're doing it in the black box, and the black box is tiny.
Oh, that's going to be a sellout.
Yeah, fast.
That's honestly, it's. This is one that I imagine anybody that sees it will be impacted by. This story is just, And like I say, this for me, when I think theater, when I think what I like most seeing, the stories I like to see the most, this is it.
You want to see electricity on the stage.
Yeah, and especially when it's a relatively small cast. The entire thing, most of it takes place in an apartment in a backyard, right?
Yeah.
And it's conversations, but they managed to make it compelling, and you get wrapped up in it. I love that. I think that is, and to see that play out with actors in person on a stage as opposed to a film, I was disappointed to see it.
It'll be one of the standouts of this season. There's no question about it. But get your tickets fast because it's going to sell out. When I saw the staged reading of Ghosts, I counted heads. There are 32 seats in that theater.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now they can arrange it to get a few more in, but it's going to be tight.
That is 32 seats. That's going to be tough.
Yep. The last of the comedies in the season is called Into the Breaches, and it's a story about set during World War II. All the men have been drafted and are gone, and a little theater company is trying to do Henry V, Shakespeare's Henry V. So they're doing it all female.
Interesting.
Yeah, it should be a great show.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Actually, Into the Breaches.
Okay. That's based on the famous line, "Once more into the breach, my men," or something like that.
That's right. Just kind of a play on the...
Yeah.
This will be fun. And that starts, also in first part of July.
Yep.
Okay, so they're starting two in the first part of July, Fences and Into the Breaches.
The lyric season normally starts in June. They want to get their premieres out of the way before the Festival Opera premieres in the week of July 4th.
That's right. So they pack that front end, and so they've got one at the 1st of June, one towards the end of June, and then in July.
There's normally they get a one premiere per week, starting in early June, and all the way through. The Vasco Call concert is after the Festival Opera opens, and so is the Interact, which is they will bring in a show that is in development, and the audience gets to interact with the playwright to talk about their reactions to the show.
This is a unique idea.
Last year they did shows that were under development by theater students, and they did two of them. They were very short, and it was a very interesting experience.
That's it. It's an interesting idea because you imagine. I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a writer, and maybe you've got something, but you don't feel like it's ready. And so this is sort of like a more entertaining version of a screen test that you'd see for a film. But in this case, the audience can actually offer feedback or interact with the play itself. And it's a cool idea. I'm excited to see this one play out.
Okay. We got to talk about the Moors, because the Moors is freaky.
Is it?
Oh, it's fun.
Now, this started last weekend, and then you've got one more chance this weekend, right?
Tonight, Friday night, and Saturday night.
And then it's done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait a minute. It's the 17th, isn't it?
Let's double check here. I'll Google. as fast as I can.
I think it's only tonight and Friday night. The 18th is the last performance.
They make it so difficult.
Anyway,
I have to click on every date.
This is a show that is it's wickedly funny. Laugh out loud funny. If you think
Friday night is the last one.
If you think that this is going to be some kind of it is really dark, but it's still funny.
Two sisters and a dog. I love the setup for this. It sounds like a punchline or a joke.
A dog, a moorhen, which is some kind of bird.
Two sisters and a dog.
A maid, and a governess. And it's like pin the tail on the donkey. Who's really the bad guy in this girl? All females except for the dog, and the dog could have been played by a female as well.
That's funny. The dog has lines, right?
Oh, the dog's the narrator.
The dog has a speaking role. I love that.
And the moorhen speaks too. Everybody speaks. It's kind of weird stuff.
That's very funny.
The thing is, the show starts off with 3 USU professors sitting on the stage explaining to you the deep significance of the show. And when the show starts, you start to think, was the professor's introduction a satire? Because it doesn't sound anything like what they talked about.
That is interesting.
And there's this, this is about women's empowerment and repressed passions and blah, 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 blah. And very Bronte-esque. Remember, we talked about how this thing has ties to the Bronte sisters.
Sure.
Charlotte and Emily and Anne. Well, maybe.
Very loosely.
Maybe. Now, there's a male character in the show who gets talked about a lot but is never on stage, called Branwell. The Bronte sisters have a brother who never got any attention named Branwell.
That's right. A sibling.
Okay? Now, when you remember that, you start to think, wait a minute. Is all this literary illusion and blah, 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 red herrings that Jen Silverman has dropped into her script to get everybody all excited about supposedly this thing has such literary significance? And then you get all these weird things happening, and
that's clever if it's done intentionally.
The show has a wicked twist right at the end.
Well, the description itself, I love this. From the USU website, it says, The Moors by Jen Silverman is a dark comedy about love, desperation, and visibility. Audience warning, scenes of violence. Like, that's a twist.
It's a great scene of violence.
Well done, huh?
Jason Spielberg, the assistant director, well, he's not the assistant director, but he's vice director in the Lyric, has choreographed a wicked. I keep using the word wicked, but it's great.
It seems to fit with this.
It's a good fight scene between 2 women.
That's interesting.
And right after this scene of violence, and I'm trying to avoid
spoilers. Spoiling it in any way.
The show takes this strange left turn and seems to spend about 3 or 4 minutes making fun of what just happened.
That's interesting.
And that really gets you thinking about has Jen Silverman been pulling my leg for the last hour and a half?
How interesting. That's it.
It's a great show.
That's a fun experience.
And you walk out thinking, what just happened?
What did I just say?
Did I get taken for a ride? I like that,
Sure.
You
Something new.
You think about, this has echoes of Charlotte Bronte's, I think Charlotte did Jane Eyre and Emily did Wuthering Heights. But you start to think, wait a minute, is this all that literary, or is this more like something that Richard Matheson wrote for the first season of The Twilight Zone back in the 1960s? Because
That's very cool.
Some shucking and jiving there.
I love that.
It's great fun. It really is.
And as Charlie said, a heck of a twist at the end. The Moors, Charlie was right. The last chance to see this is Friday, the 18th. And so get your tickets now. You can find the schedule at usu.edu/calendar, or just simply search for the Utah State University Theater Season. Google search will take you there as well. And Friday the 18th is the last show. So between then and now, you've got to get your tickets. This is interesting. Before we head to the break, this has been added since the last time I looked at this. On Friday's show, that final show, February 18th, there's a panel discussion. And
same deal.
That is, so just a bit before the show, about half an hour before the show, panel discussion with a theater historian and the director and a literary scholar, a 19th century American literature scholar.
Who may have swallowed the hook, line
Bought
and
into
sinker.
It. Oh, how funny is that if that's the case?
I haven't said anything about the acting. The performances are all great. They are, and they're university performers I haven't seen before.
Really?
Which makes it really interesting. They've got a thick
Very
backfield.
Cool. That is.
You have to say that the Moors is the most fun you can have without laughing right out loud, but you're gonna laugh right out loud.
and then maybe feel guilty about it. The Moor is playing up until this Friday at as part of USU Theater's spring or 2022 lineup. I've linked to it on our Facebook page, and we'll be back right after this.
It's here. Your chance this year to get Goodyear tires at wholesale prices or even less during the Discount Tire and Automotive 4-day warehouse sale. Through Saturday only, Discount Tire and Automotive has the guaranteed lowest prices of the year. So low that Goodyear won't let them quote prices on the phone. Get into Discount Tire to find the best deals on Goodyear Wrangler Duratrack. Perfect for rugged off-road terrain while delivering a smooth, quiet ride. The new Goodyear Assurance Weather Ready is the best all-weather superior performance in the harshest of weather. You'll never find them at a lower price, and with Discount Tire's layaway, you can grab that price with just 20% down, or choose 6 months no-interest financing. Discount Tire and Automotive has the lowest tire prices, period. They scour the competition to be sure no one beats them, online or in person. Open till 7 Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 6 p.m. on Saturday. Or shop anytime, day or night at webtires.net. Don't miss the lowest prices of the year now through Saturday at Discount Tire and Automotive in Logan, Providence, and Smithfield.
Discount Tire. So much more than a tire store.
Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce invites you to attend the annual awards gala on Friday, March 4th. It's at the Riverwoods Conference Center. Enjoy a wonderful evening of fine dining in recognition of Cache Valley's outstanding businesses and individuals, including Citizen of the Year, New Small Business, Event of the Year, Nonprofit Mentor of the Year, and Woman of the Year. Featuring musical entertainment from America's Got Talent finalist Kennedy Dodds. Don't miss the Cache Chamber Awards Gala Friday, March 4th at the Riverwoods. Reserve your seat at cashechamber.com or call 752-2161.
Utah has great schools, but not every child has access to them. It's time to abandon a one-size-fits-all approach to education and create more hope and opportunity for every Utah student. The Hope Scholarship Bill will allow families to direct education dollars to meet their child's individual learning needs. With Hope Scholarships, every student can access the education that's right for them. Tell your legislators to support the Hope Scholarship Bill. Visit uthopescholarship.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
We ran out of time so fast. Charlie Schill, our guest here in the studio. You can read his work, including theater reviews, each and every week and each and every day at CacheValleyDaily.com. Charlie, just 15, 20 seconds left. What's next week?
I have no idea.
Not yet.
Also, this weekend is the Banff Film Festival, Outdoor Film Festival.
That's right, at the Eccles.
Have no idea about that either, but
I know tickets are still available.
Yep.
If you want them. We'll be back with Hour 2 right after this.